All right, thanks you guys for logging on. We're going to start here in about a minute. You can share this. I think on TikTok you can share this up to 15 times. I don't know who set up the TikTok laws, but we certainly are glad that you are participating, whether you're watching this live. Yeah, you too, switch out. Whether you're watching this live or it's a recording, this is a case that needs attention. This is a family that needs support. This is a child with a disability that has been treated like we're in a third world country. So if we haven't met, I'm Karen, Mayor Cunningham, Special Education Boss, training everyone that sits at the 504 IEP table to navigate and negotiate successful student outcomes. Why am I here in Washington, North Carolina, at Washington Montessori Charter School, which is a public school? Because the acuity of this case is just, it's unbelievable. It sounds like something you would hear on HBO or cable. So we have a composite of some of the components of the cases. If you want a copy of that, just email us at advocate@specialeducationacademy.com and we'll get a copy to you. Why am I standing out here in the grass? Because of what's happened to this little girl and what's happened to this family. So I'm just going to get right into it. Thanks you guys for coming. This is Washington Montessori Public Charter School at 2330 Old Bath Highway in Washington, North Carolina. So the children in America have a benefit that have disabilities, and that benefit is they're due a free appropriate public education under IDEA, the Individuals with Disabilities Education Act. Additionally, we have protections under ed.gov for the Office of Civil Rights that you can't be discriminated against based on your disability, denied accommodations, or retaliated against. And so I'm just going to go through this, and then we're going to open up for questions. So, good afternoon. I'm Karen Mayer Cunningham. I'm a special education advocate. I serve families with children with disabilities between the ages of 3 and 22. I've been doing that for about 28 years. Special education advocates assist parents in identifying the needs of students and advocating for these needs to be met by the school systems using federal law as a guidance. The federal law that protects these students is the Individuals with Disabilities Education Act. It's been a law for 48 and a half years. And what that means is children have the right to access, equal access to the grounds, access to an educational product, access to participation with their non-disabled peers, except for this child. This child is being denied all of that. In exchange for these schools accepting federal money, every year your state, North Carolina, writes a document to the federal government, and it says, hey, this is how we are going to meet our federal requirements in North Carolina. And based upon that contractual agreement, the federal government releases federal funds. It's called grant money. And so regardless of the child or their disability, they have a civil right to a free, appropriate public education. And when the school system breaks the law knowingly, what school systems usually do is when it's brought to their attention, they make it right. They work with families, they collaborate with families, but not this school district. What this school district is lawyered up to try to bankrupt a child. It's really trying to bankrupt a child. It's really not about her parents. It's really not about her disability. It's not about we wanted her to have equal access. We're going to bankrupt this family until we drive them out of this campus, drive them out of this county, and drive this little girl out of school. And they've done that. So I'd like to highlight the school's egregious behavior against this local family that was born here, that was raised here. And let me just say, North Carolina is beautiful. I am from Texas, where it's 500,000 degrees. I've never heard so many yes ma'ams. I feel like I was home. Yes ma'am, yes ma'am. The nicest people. There's a church on every corner. It's a community and a state that looks like it would help each other. But this school, Washington Montessori Charter School, is going to make it an effort to make these families an example and this child an example so that no other family even tries to exert their legal rights. See, you have legal rights, but they're only your rights in two ways. If you know them, and you can make them be implemented. And it's not happening here for this family. So let me tell you about some of the school's behavior against this local family. The school's employed various tactics to eliminate the parents' participation in their child's education. These tactics have included, but are not limited to, denying them access to their legal records. So your child that's in public school has records. Those records don't belong to the school. They belong to the child with a disability. So this family has legally asked for a FOIA request to get the child's records. This school sent them a bill for almost $3,000 to deny them access, which is illegal under the federal law. But I don't think federal law matters here. I just think you must have like a little fence, and we don't follow federal law here. Under 300-617, you cannot charge parents money if it impedes their child's ability to access those records. And so the school attorney attends all of these parents' IEP meetings and makes them very adversarial. The school attorney is not a key stakeholder in the IEP meeting. They're not. There's the parent, the special education principal, the special education teacher, a general ed teacher, and somebody that does evaluations and can answer questions about evaluations. Just like I, a non-attorney advocate, represent families, my job is not to run the meeting or to talk over people, but to serve my family and serve the committee. That's what the attorney for the school district should be doing, not trying to control, manipulate, and bombard them and talking over everybody. If the school district attorney wants to provide counsel to their client, they should do that. The parents of the child with disability, they're not your client, school district attorney. So they have banned the parents from coming on the campus. Like, they're not allowed to drive on the campus. But then they said, well, you can drive. Well, no, you can't drive. You can be a passenger in a car. And the school board voted on this ridiculous craziness. Now, have the parents committed a crime? No. But they're not allowed to go on this driveway, even though it's public property, right? The school district has spent over 6 figures. Listen to me. Over $100,000 fighting this little girl who just wanted to come to school. The parents of this child have spent at least 30 emails to school officials begging for this school district to follow federal law, to work together without involving attorneys, the Office of Civil Rights, the court system. However, this school district foolishly has chosen to ignore those requests and now has ongoing retaliation with the Office of Civil Rights. The federal government is now involved because of how much this school district has retaliated against this family and this child. The case number for the Office of Civil Rights is 1124-1096, which has been open for investigation February 1st, 2024. In addition, the parents have had to file 2 IDEA-related lawsuits against Washington Montessori Public Charter School. The first case will be heard by an administrative law judge on September 9th, 2024. Until the parents everywhere hold schools accountable for this type of discrimination and retaliation, schools will continue to control, manipulate, and deny children and their parents civil rights. See, the procedural rights and safeguards are for the child with a disability and the parents. See, the school doesn't need protection. Those things are in protection to protect the school, the parents, and the student, but that's not what's happened here. I'm going to read you some highlights of what's happened to this family. And believe me, this is not an exhaustive list. These parents are devastated. They're embarrassed. They're mortified that we're standing out here in a ditch because they're not even allowed to come on campus so their child can get an education in America. In August of 2022, the school banned both parents from coming on the campus. They just banned them, citing some vague complaints that were criminal in nature, that they were stalking somebody. Now, they wouldn't say who or what or when. They just said, you can't come here. And the school never gave the parents a due process or a chance to know exactly what was specifically happening, that they were banned. Since the school does not provide transportation, the ban allowed the parents to drive onto campus to drop off their daughter in a car line. The parents were banned from opening a car door for their daughter and assisting her into the classroom. She's diagnosed with multiple disabilities and required assistance to go into the building. The student began exhibiting refusal behaviors, as you can imagine. But the school wouldn't assist the parents with getting the child into the building, which is their obligation. These are obligations, duties, and responsibilities. This is not a salad bar. These are not optional. These are obligations. I'm so glad that the authorities are here. Hopefully they're here to rectify all of this stuff. Okay? In October of 2023, the IEP meeting was held. Asked the school to add a category of eligibility. The school requested additional evaluation, even though the eligibility was already accepted by the district. The school bans both parents from driving on the campus. The parents submit a dash cam video that dispels the school's reasoning for banning them. The school board chairman, the parents reached out and he said, it's too late, we already voted. Let me just help you out. The school board members are called trustees. You know why they're called trustees? Because the state entrusted them to care for children. They don't care for children. They care about people obeying them and bowing down to their requirements. So in February, OCR opened our retaliation case, because it's obviously retaliation. It's not hard to figure that out, against Washington Montessori Public Charter School. In February, the IEP meeting is scheduled. Parents are provided a Zoom link. You know why they're provided a Zoom link? Because they're not allowed to drive on this piece of driveway because they've been banned by some imaginary law that was never broken and never occurred. The parents sit in the waiting room in the Zoom for 45 minutes. The school refuses to let them in. So they hold an IEP meeting in violation of their procedural rights, and hours later they send them a prior written notice saying, not only did we have the meeting and you didn't participate, we made a bunch of changes in placement. I know, it sounds like we're in a third world country. We are in beautiful North Carolina at Washington Montessori Public Charter School. This is what's happening with your federal funds. We have real things going on in the world. We have children that are illiterate when they're grown up. And you know what we've taught this little girl? That adults are liars. Adults are liars. They can't be trusted. What do we tell our kids at school? Go to school. Miss Cindy will help you. Mr. Daniel will help you. But that's a lie. And we tell them, if something happened, say something. But that's not true. So this little girl reported that her special ed teacher grabbed her and was pushing her towards a room. So she reported it. A little tiny child, an elementary school child, reported it. And you know what the school did? The school said that she violated their code. That the child harassed an adult. And they threw her out of the district. So she's not only out of the district, where the parents had to have some ridiculous way to drop her off, but because an 11-year-old, a little minor child with a disability said, hey, my teacher hurt me. She put her hands on me. So obviously our kids' voices don't matter. So in March of 2024, the child makes a statement that the teacher attempted to pull her down the highway. The police department goes out to the school, but the school staff refuses to talk to the police department. I guess we just have like whatever rogue law out here. The next day, the police department returns to the school. The school said it never occurred. The school sends emails to the parent requesting that an attorney interview this little girl. We're going to have the school district attorney that runs over the parents, and actually all of the staff members during the meeting, talk to an 11-year-old with a disability. Do you think the parents granted that? Of course not. The school principal sends an email to parents saying that the child has violated the code of conduct under the harassment policy. She doesn't work here. She's not your employee. She didn't violate a student code of conduct for harassment policy. She didn't touch anybody. She didn't hit anybody. She didn't hurt anybody. And she's the one who is in trouble. Because that's what victims do. They project on somebody who's voiceless. But this little girl is not voiceless anymore. In March of 2026, the parent's attorney filed for a petition to contest the case. In March 27, 2024, the school had held a manifestation determination meeting without the parents, which is illegal. And the school decided her harassment of an employee was not part of her disability. The same night, the school board of trustees met and voted to exclude her. They voted to exclude her. If this is happening to a child with a disability who struggles and is greatly impaired by her disability, what do you think's happening to your kids? Because it's all happening down this pretty little road to your kids. And whatever you do, don't say anything, because they will spend all the money in the county to fight you. It's retaliation. The parents were notified by email that she was excluded. The email is to remind them that and that she was no longer a student. The parents emailed back. They have a state complaint. They are under stay put. It's called pendency under federal law. I don't know if the school is aware of federal law, but it's been in place for 48 and a half years. We can get them a copy of that if they need it. And so the parents notified them, you can't get rid of her. We're in stay put, which means exactly what it says, that we stay put, that the last agreed upon IEP has to stay in place. And they said it doesn't apply to them. It doesn't apply to them. North Carolina state law doesn't apply to them. Federal law doesn't apply to them. And if you don't like it, they'll just get rid of you and threaten you. None of it legal, none of it binding, but it was meant to exhaust, bankrupt, and tell this child that you can never trust adults. In April 29, 2024, the school filed criminal truancy charges against the parents. I'm sorry, what? You kicked the kid out and then you filed truancy parents. And this is just a short list. I am so thankful that you guys are going to be a voice. I want you to reach out to the Department of Education for North Carolina and let them know this is obscene, this is sick, and this is dangerous, because there's nothing unique about this. Unfortunately, myself and my partners, we serve families all across this great nation, and it's rare, but this happens, and it goes unchecked. Special ed, when done right, is the most amazing setting. Kids with disabilities in public schools is the most amazing setting when we get it right. They have not gotten it right, and they sit in their board meeting behind closed quarters cackling that they destroyed a 12-year-old with disabilities. I hope you can sleep at night. I'm not going away. I'm not afraid of you, and we're going to give this little girl a voice till justice is brought to her. And so thanks you guys for logging in. I'm going to ask you to share this. We're going to, of course, post it permanently on Special Education Academy YouTube channel. If you have questions or how you can support and help this family, let us know, because it's not okay, and we're not going to stop talking about it until it is fixed. And so we won't turn the camera around. Thanks you guys for all coming. But did any of you guys have any questions about this case?
I was interested to know if, when you spoke about the board voted, are you speaking specifically about the board of trustees that are over the Washington Montessori
Yes, ma'am.
School, or the Beaufort County board, the school board?
The Washington County. Yeah.
The Washington Montessori.
I'm sorry, Washington Montessori Charter School. Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. So there's no due process. They don't even record their school board meetings. If you'd like to drive down the road, which I'm going to take plenty of pictures because you don't run me, they have a non-compliant school district. They don't have handicap tables in the cafeteria. They don't have handicap tables in the library. There's no handicap tables in the classrooms. The playground, I guess if you were a 300-pound man and you could lift a child in a wheelchair, you could carry them out to the playground, but that's not accessible. Now, that's just been a federal law since 1990. Again, I don't know if federal laws apply here, but they apply everywhere in America. So we're going to run this up the flagpole till this is fixed. Every school board member should never be reappointed. That is disgusting. I don't know who is running your special ed department, but they don't care about kids with disabilities. Okay, so thanks you guys for coming. I really thank you guys for being here. We're going to keep talking about this. I will come back if we need to until we get it completely right, because unfortunately, this story is not unique to this little girl. This happens to children all over America. It bankrupts families. Families get divorced over things like this, and I'm not going to have it. So thanks you guys for being here. Reach out to us, advocate@specialeducationacademy.com, and we're going to get this right for this little girl in Washington Montessori Charter School.
Right in
Top right. Feels.
Oh, perfect.
Okay. Ta-da!
Yay, that was awesome.